Hi friends, thanks for joining us. Today's practice, you don't need anything but yourself. You don't need a mat. If you'd like a cushion to sit on to give you a little bit of height or support in some of these poses, that's fine. I'm going to be using one. But other than that, today is just about finding a little bit of balance, turning inward, and letting the rest of the world kind of disappear. Tune into yourself, check in with your body, see how you're feeling, and we'll really try to avoid any kind of judgment. It's not good, it's not bad, that's just the way it is. I'm here to guide you. This is more your practice, and you can take any kind of modifications that you would like. But first we'll start out in easy pose with the legs crossed. The sit bones are grounded down and balanced even. The spine is tall. The neck is long, the shoulders are relaxed and melted down the back. And you start out by closing your eyes and either putting your hands on your knees or on the abdomen. As we begin to breathe here, I want you to take notice of how the air feels as it's going in through the nose, down into the lungs, and then back out again. So we'll inhale deeply and exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Let's do one more. Nice and deep. Inhale. And exhale to relax and let go. Next inhale, the arms will come up overhead. The shoulders are still relaxed, so you have a big space between them and the ears, giving a lot of room in the neck. And take a nice deep breath here and pay attention to how the ribs move, how the spine works, how your legs feel against the ground. And then on an exhale when you're ready, keeping the spine straight, hinge forward with the hips, and bring everything to relax. Only going as far as you feel comfortable. If you feel any kind of sharp or electrical sensations, back out of it, and either wait till we move to the next pose, or try again with a much gentler approach. So our breaths here, you want to feel the back of the ribs and the spine expanding as you inhale. And if the breath is deep enough, you should be able to feel it come across the lower back and into the hips. So we'll take a couple here just like this, inhaling deep. And exhaling long to relax just a little bit more. Take one more of those here, and then on an inhale, unhinging from the hips with the back still as flat as you can, coming back up to center. Next inhale, the arms are going to come up overhead again, but this time we're going to bring them back behind us, clasping with the palms together at the base of the back. We'll get into the shoulders by squeezing them a little bit together as if you were holding like an apple between them, and letting them melt back down the rib cage. Spine is tall. And this time we're breathing into the chest. Open up here in the collarbone area and lifting the chin to get into the throat. Inhaling to find and create space. And exhaling to relax. And on that next exhale, you can let go of the hands and come back to center. Next breath, the arms will come up again, remembering keeping all of that space here in the neck, keeping the shoulders relaxed. This time getting into the side, we'll drop one arm down. We're looking for a long, clean line of energy here from the hip that touches the ground all the way up the outside of the body, through the ribs, into the shoulder, and out the fingertips over the head. Inhaling deep. Exhaling long. Inhaling, coming back up, and we'll drop down the other side. Just taking notice of how this side is different. One more big inhale through the nose. Long exhale. And inhaling back to center. All right, we'll bring our hands down to heart center. Pulling a little bit back on the arms so that you can open the chest. And we're going to find our first twist. It is very gentle. We're still warming up. So again, our inhale is going to find that height in the spine, lifting tall. And the exhale is going to rotate towards one knee. Just a little bit. You'll feel it in the stomach. You'll start to feel it in the spine. Just this little baby twist. If you're finding it difficult to breathe in any of these poses, I would ease out of it a little bit. This is still something that you should be able to comfortably do no matter where you are. Good. On an exhale, come back to center. Big inhale to find that height. And on an exhale, you can twist the other side. Rotating with the rib cage and keeping those hips even and balanced. Taking notice of how they connect to the ground. Good. Exhale to relax back to center. And then we'll remove our cushion. We're going to push back into child's pose. So the knees can be hip distance or together. It's however your body finds it the most comfortable. The arms are stretched out overhead. The spine is long and the forehead connects to the floor. Deep breaths here. We'll start to open the backs of the ribs, the lower back, and the hips a little bit more than that forward fold. You also have the opportunity to allow gravity to help the hips sink into the floor and just let the body let go. Child's pose is a rest pose. If at any point you are uncomfortable with some of the poses or you need a break, you can always come back here and then meet up with us whenever you're ready. So on our next inhale, we're going to come up to hands and knees and take a couple cat-cows. So on the inhale, we're going to round the back, pushing out of the shoulders, tucking the tailbone. And then the exhale allows the belly and the chest to open, the chin and the tailbone to lift, And then our inhale, we round. Exhale, open. 2 or 3 more of those in your own time. Inhaling through the nose. And exhaling long. Coming back to neutral, we're going to extend the right leg out behind us and the left arm in front. So we're finding a diagonal. The toes lift and reaching through the toes or the heel, depends on how you feel, and the fingertips. We're going to find this really long diagonal line of energy. Opening up in that hip, engaging the abdominals and the core for a little bit of strength work and fire. And then lifting that shoulder, strengthening the back, starting to work out all of those kinks from sitting at a desk or being on the couch more often than you're used to. Excellent. One more deep breath here. Inhaling. And exhale back to center. Take a moment to check in. Recenter. And then we'll extend that left leg out and the right arm, finding that diagonal. And lifting, looking for that fire in the core, finding balance and stability. And it's okay to need to try a couple times. We can tap and lift again. Tap and lift again. Good. On an exhale, we'll come back to center. Now, for the twist, you have a couple options. If you're still looking for something gentle, we'll take that right hand, grasp the left wrist, and drop down onto the elbow, and then add the gaze towards the ceiling. If you need something a little deeper, instead of grabbing the wrist, you can scoop all the way under and find something much deeper. Relaxing on the shoulder, finding space in the neck. One more deep breath, and when you're ready to come out, you can put pressure on that left hand and unwind. Coming back to center. Nice deep breath to reset. And then finding whatever twist you did on the last side, we're going to do the same kind of one. So if you grab the wrist and twist it this way, then that's where you'll stay. If you swung deeper, big breath in, long breath out. Again, big inhale, long even exhale. Whenever you're ready, we can come back to center and we'll push back into child's pose for a moment. Taking a rest, tuning in, noticing how each side of the body feels. Does this child pose feel different than the last one? Next inhale, we'll come back up to hands and knees, Tuck the toes, lift the hips, and we'll push off into our first downward dog. The knees can be softly rounded and bent. The heels are pressing towards the floor. The hips are lifted high. The shoulders are extended. The hands are strong, pressing all the fingers into the ground. And the head is in neutral between the arms. Couple deep breaths here, and then we can start to bend one leg and then the other, gently pedaling them out. Breathing as we go, getting fresh blood and oxygen in. Next breath, we'll walk the feet towards the hands, finding a gentle forward fold. The knees are as bent as they need to be. The spine is long and the head hangs heavy. And then we'll grasp the elbows, finding space in the ribs and gently waving side to side. Breathing deep as you go. All right, relaxing the arms. And on an inhale, you're going to bend the knees and keep the back nice and flat. Unhinge at the hips, bringing you to stand. Good. So mountain pose is something that we use every day, whether you practice yoga on a regular basis or not. This is our general standing position. The feet are about hip distance apart. The knees are soft but still over the ankles. The hips are relaxed. The tailbone is heavy. The belly is tall. The ribs are open. Chest high. Throat open. Shoulders relaxed but back. We'll take a few moments to breathe here. Feeling our feet connect to the ground. Feeling those points between the big toe, the pinkies, and on either side of the heel. Balanced and even. Toes are spread wide. Excellent. Let's bring the hands to heart center. And we'll start warming up for some sun salutations to really get the blood flowing. Nice big inhale, and the arms come up overhead. And we'll exhale, forward fold, hinging with the hips, keeping the back nice and flat, and coming all the way forward. Bend the knees as much as you need to so that you feel comfortable. Good. Then you can inhale halfway. We'll strengthen the legs, strengthen the core, and exhale, relax. Good. Big inhale. Again, stands up all the way high. This time, we'll open up the back a little bit. Exhale, hands come down to heart center. Deep breath, inhale. Exhale. This time, bringing the arms wide to open the chest. Big salute upwards. And then strong swan dive forward. All the way down. Inhaling to that halfway. Exhaling to relax again. And one more time. Inhaling big to come up. Opening into that baby back bend. Exhaling to heart center. Big breath to reset. Check in. And this is a perfect time if you have an intention that you set for your practice or for your flows, or you have you have a goal that you'd like to accomplish during this practice, this is the time to set that. And every time we come back to center, part of the meditation would be holding that intention in the palms and just focusing on it for a moment. And then allowing it to flow. So we'll go through the rest of our sun salutation now. Inhaling up. Exhaling forward. Inhaling halfway. Exhaling to fold. Taking that right foot backwards to this big high lunge. If you feel more comfortable with the knee down, you can do that as well. We're looking to drop the hips a little bit and bring it ever so slightly forward so we feel that big long stretch in the back extended leg. Excellent. Couple deep breaths here. This will help open up in the hip flexors. Especially if you sit at a desk all the time, this could be really beneficial for alleviating hip pain, lower back pain, things like that. Excellent. So make sure the hands are flat or you feel comfortable with the kind of weight on the wrists that you're looking for. You can come up to the knuckles if you need to. That front left foot steps back and you can come into a full high plank, or you can drop the knees, still keeping the glute muscles tight and firm, the abdominals firm, and the hips open. But however you take this will be fine. Couple deep breaths here to really build fire in the belly, drawing energy up from the heels all the way up the spine. Remembering that shoulder, or that space between the shoulders and the ears. One more deep breath, and then on your exhale, keeping the elbows close to the body, next to the ribs, we're going to lower all the way down. If you feel good about hovering, please do so. If not, you can relax onto the belly. Hands are still beneath the shoulders. Elbows are as close to the ribs as you feel comfortable. Neck is long, big space. And on an inhale, we'll engage these upper to middle back muscles to lift the shoulders. Relaxing in the legs where you can. And we're really building our strength and our focus here on those muscles in the back between the shoulder blades. So you should be able to, as you practice further, you should be able to lift the hands up off the floor and still engage all of this. Good. Exhale, relax, and we're going to push back into another downward dog. Good. The knees can still be bent. Couple deep breaths here, really allowing the spine to elongate. Lifting those hips towards the ceiling, it'll create a little bit of space and traction in the lower back. Excellent. So we're going to take that right leg and we're going to lift it as high as we feel comfortable towards the sky. And then we'll bend that knee. So we start to get into the side of the body, the hip, and the front of the leg a little bit more. If you feel comfortable with it, you can maybe rotate the knee a little bit. And the other side. Good. Excellent. Coming back to center, dropping that leg, and then walking, stepping, or hopping back up to the hands. And with an inhale, you come all the way up. Hands reach high. And exhale, back to center. Taking a moment to check in. Checking out each side of the body. Awesome. Other side. Inhaling up, tall, opening in that baby back bend. Maybe getting a little bit deeper now that you're loosened up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold. Now the other side. So the left leg steps back. Nice long runner's lunge. If you need to drop the knee, you can do that. So taking notice of how this side is different from the other. Our left and right sides do not always match up. So again, we're looking for this nice open hip area as well as length in this back leg. Remembering to breathe, nice deep inhales, long exhales. One more deep breath here. And then you can take that right leg back to meet the left. Again, dropping the knees if you need to, or staying in full plank. We'll take a few deep breaths here. Good, and on an exhale, we lower, hovering if you can. And then inhaling up into cobra, or if it's in your practice, you can come into up dog. But remembering that our strength and our focus and engagement is between the shoulder blades and in the back. Excellent. And then when you're ready, you can pass through tabletop and find down dog one more time. Couple deep breaths here. This time lifting that left leg high, bending the knee, and again getting into the side of the body and the front of the leg. Big circles with the knees, forwards and backwards. And then bringing the feet together, stepping forward. And inhaling up. Exhaling, heart center. We're going to be coming into chair pose, and we have a couple different variations for this. It can get into standing balances, so let's try and keep up. Inhaling tall, exhaling, the hips come back, bend the knees only as deep as you feel comfortable so that everything is balanced and even. The body is nice and long, the chest is still open, chin is still slightly lifted. Shoulders are still down the back. Our engagement here is in the thighs, coming up the glute muscles and in the hips. After a few breaths, maybe sinking a little deeper if you can. If not, that's okay too. And on your next exhale, gently fold forward, releasing the back. Good, so while we're here in this forward fold, you can bend the knees as much as you need to, but we're gonna grasp the big toes with these two fingers and the thumb. Now when you press on the top of the toenail gently and lift up with the bottom of the feet, in reflexology it is said to help stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is what helps you sleep better. So this is a great one to do before bed. Just as you breathe, relax the backs of the legs. Let the spine get long and the head get heavy. Alright, next inhale, we'll come all the way up to stand. Exhale to heart center. And we'll get ready for a couple more twists. Nice deep breath to come back to center. Good. On an exhale, we'll sit back into chair pose again. Hands are still at heart center. And now for a deeper twist, you've got a couple options. You can rotate the rib cage towards the left and goes over the shoulder, or you can get deep and cross the elbow. It really all depends on your practice and how you feel today. But we're looking to find length in the spine and then twist. On an exhale, relax back to center. We'll stand, woo! Take a breath. And then we'll find the other side, sinking in the hips and rotating towards the right. Either just the ribs or adding that cross with the elbow. Nice deep breaths. If it's difficult to breathe, loosen the twist, come out a little bit. It's not about how far you can go. It's what you learned on the way there. Good. Exhale back to center. A nice forward fold. The right leg steps back. This time, the right hand comes flat to the floor inside this left, and we're going to add another twist. Inhaling that left hand up, so we turn into this front leg. And exhale, we'll bring down to tap, and inhale up. Exhale. Inhale up. One more time, exhale. Inhale up. Excellent. Exhale back to center, stepping forward. Maintaining this forward fold. Breathing. Good. Left leg steps back. Left hand comes flat inside the right foot. Right arm lifts up into this twist. Exhale, bringing the hand down. Tap and inhale up. Exhale down, tap. Inhale up. Exhale down one more time. Inhale up. Nice couple deep breaths here. Coming back to center on an exhale. This time stepping back, lowering down. Inhale, cobra or up dog. And exhale, find child's pose. Couple deep breaths. Using that exhale as an opportunity to sink and melt into the floor, releasing any tension or stress that you may have built up. Returning to the breath, inhaling deeply, filling the back of the body, and exhaling long. Next inhale, we'll come back to all fours for our tabletop. We are going to bring the right foot forward, tuck that back toe, lift the knee so the heel stays high. And with a nice strong inhale, we'll come up to crescent lunge. Good. So with this one, we've got our weight focused on the back so that we can stretch out of the heel, keep this back leg strong and long, and then your flexibility comes in where you place the front foot and how deep that knee goes. This pose really helps draw everything up in through that midline, so you'll feel it in the arches, coming up the center of the legs, up into that pelvic floor. Excellent. On an exhale, we'll drop the heel of that back foot and come into side angle. Awesome. Be gentle with your transitions. We're going to press the outside edge of that back foot into the ground so that it helps lift up the arch of the foot, drawing that energy up the center of the leg. Same with that right leg. We'll press the outside edge of the foot down so that we can feel the engagement and openness in here. Fantastic. Inhale, warrior two. And gently rotating, finding crescent. Nice deep breaths, really lifting tall. And exhaling the hands forward, bringing that foot back. And we'll flow through that vinyasa, exhaling to lower. Inhaling, finding cobra or up dog. And pushing back to child's pose. Allowing this time to reset, tune back into the breath, find your rhythm and your pattern. Check into the heart rate. How does that feel? Let's inhale back to tabletop. And this time we'll go through that flow on the other side, bringing that left foot forward. Right foot tucks, extends through the heel. And a nice big inhale, we swing up to crescent. Bringing the weight into that back leg, nice and strong. And then allowing the front knee to bend based on our flexibility. Nice deep breaths here, Feeling the strength coming up the insides of the legs as you pull everything in towards that midline. And when you're ready, on an exhale, we'll find that side angle. Checking the outside edges of the feet. That long, clean line of energy from that back foot all the way up through the side of the body, the ribs, the shoulder, and out the fingers over the head. Remembering to breathe. Deep inhale. Long exhale. Excellent. Inhaling up to warrior two. Adjust the stance if you need to. Making sure the arms are parallel to the ground and even. A couple more deep breaths, and when you're ready, gently rotating to crescent. A couple more deep breaths. And exhaling the hands down, flowing through our vinyasa, exhaling to lower, inhaling to up dog, and exhaling to our last downward dog of the practice. Let's go back to that pedaling motion with one leg and then the other. And take notice of how it's different from before we did it, or earlier in our practice. I mean, do the backs of the legs and the joints and the hips feel more limber? Maybe the back and the shoulders feel a little bit stronger. Excellent. One more deep breath, and then we'll drop to the knees and come to our seated position again, using that pillow if you need to. Excellent. So we'll start out with the left leg tucked in, and the right leg is going to extend out to the side. We'll keep the foot flexed, so all 5 toes should be pulling up towards the face so that you can actively engage all the way around the leg. The knee is as straight as you feel comfortable. The torso stays facing the front of your room or facing me, and we get into the side this way, reaching both hands towards the foot, exhaling to lower into this side bend. Your gaze is towards the armpit or the ceiling. Good. Next, exhale. Very gently rotate that chest so that everything comes down towards the knee. You want to keep the back long, leaving that space between the shoulders and the ears and the neck. And as we melt forward on our exhales, we're just thinking about letting go in the body, releasing any stress or tension. It's not a forceful movement. It's a little bit more relaxing than that. Inhale back up, hinging from the hips. Making a slight rotation to this other bent knee, which should be your left leg. And we'll find that counter. Both sit bones and hips stay connected to the ground. And then we'll fold the chest forward over this knee. Wonderful. Inhale, coming back up. And we'll switch legs. So that right leg comes in, left leg goes out, flex the foot, all 5 toes come towards the face, and leave the knee as straight as you feel comfortable. We'll get into the side body first. So the inhale, both hands come up, and then reach towards that foot. Deep breaths, deeply inhaling. Nice long, even exhale. When you're ready, gently rotating so that the chest comes towards that knee. Yeah, and then hinging forward with the hips. Thinking about a nice long spine. On an inhale, coming up to center. Rotate that rib cage towards this bent knee, which should be your right leg, or whatever side you haven't done. And exhale, folding forward. Working on keeping both of those sit bones or hips connected to the ground. Inhale, coming up to center. So this next stretch, getting into the hips specifically, this next pose, you've got a couple options. If your hips are super, super tight, then you can have one leg extended and one foot is flexed, the knee is bent at about 90 degrees, and you should start to feel it open up in this hip area. If that's not quite enough, then you can do it with both. You can have both legs bent for a pigeon pose. So we'll start with the left leg underneath, so that'll either be straight or the bottom portion of your cross-legged pose. The foot is flexed, the knee is bent. Now the other leg, your right leg, is going to bring the foot to the knee. Again, this is flexed to protect the joints, and we let that knee fall open as far as it goes. It's whatever works for you. My hips are very tight, my lower back is very stiff, so my knees stick up into the air. Some of you may have them lay flat. It really depends on how your body is put together and how flexible you are. So we're looking to create space in this hip, and we're just going to relax into it. You don't have to forward fold. You'd even close your eyes and just deeply breathe for a moment. Big inhales, long exhales, just letting go in the hips, relaxing. Now, if this stretch sitting up isn't enough for you, you have a couple options. You could try to forward fold over it, and that'll give you a deeper one way deep into that hip socket. Or you could add a twist, and that adds a stretch through the lower back in a different kind of way. This is enough for me like this, but you can take those modifications to make it work for you. No matter where you are in this pose, we're still lifting up in the spine to bring it up out of the hips, creating space. The shoulders are still relaxed wherever you are, down the back. There's a nice big space between them and the ears to create room for everything in the neck, especially if you're adding that twist. couple more deep breaths here, wherever you are. You can start to make your way up from a forward fold or out of your twist if you'd like. We'll gently bring the knees in. And before we do the other side, we'll bring both legs together and drop the knees from side to side. Excellent. Let's find the other side, whether this bottom right leg is straight or bent. It's up to you, whatever works. If it is bent, both the feet are flexed, again, pulling both toes back up towards the face or the shin. And this time, this left leg is going to come on top. Flex foot. Nice, even shin bone. And allow the knees to fall open. Taking a few deep breaths, giving it some time to relax and open up. Inhaling, nice and deep all the way down. Exhaling. Deep inhale, finding height in the spine, lifting up out of the hips and the ground. And when you're comfortable, if you'd like, you can forward fold over this one. Oh, wow. Or you can add that bit of a twist. Deeply breathing the whole time. Deep inhales. Long exhales through the nose. The eyes a moment. Tune into the body. Good. Let's take one more deep breath right here in this pose, wherever you are. And then gently lift the knees, starting to unwind, unfold. Knees go side to side. And let's come onto our backs for the last few moments of our practice here. All the way flat with the heels, knees bent, heels coming up towards the hips, and the arms relaxed to your sides. Taking a moment to breathe and notice how the feet and the hands are connected to the ground, where the spaces in your hips and your back connect to the ground. How long is the neck? Where does the back of the head connect to the ground? Good. So coming into bridge pose, this pose is fantastic in opening up the hips and the belly and the chest, as well as strengthening the backs of the legs, the glutes, all the way up the back and the spine, and even into the shoulders a bit. It also creates a lot of space in the neck, but it's something that you have to be careful with. So our face will always stay up towards the ceiling to protect any kind of joint issues that you may have in the spine. The feet press firmly into the ground. And on an inhale, the hips start to lift by engaging the backs of the legs, the glutes, good. So your weight is coming into the shoulders, which allows the neck and the head to be free, but straight and facing the ceiling. Good. Holding this for a couple deep breaths, you'll really start to feel fire in the backs of the legs and those glute muscles. Good. And on exhale, with control, you come down, rolling one vertebra at a time. Excellent. Coming to center. Before we do a rounding or rocking type pose, we're going to do a couple more of these, but to reset, we'll just drop the knees side to side. A couple times. Gently twisting. Good. So let's do that back bend one more time. Firmly planting the feet, pressing the hands and the arms into the ground, finding that place across the shoulders that connects evenly to the floor. Good. And on an inhale, pressing into the ground, activating the glutes and the hamstrings, lifting those hip flexors and that pelvic bone towards the ceiling. Maybe clasping the hands underneath you to roll the shoulders and get a little bit more into the chest. Wonderful. One more deep breath here. Big inhale. And on the exhale, you can let go of the hands. Gently roll down, one at a time. Rocking those knees back and forth once or twice. And then rounding the spine by bringing the feet to the ceiling. Hands grasp the insides of the feet. We've done child's pose. Let's get into happy baby. Sometimes it's translated as dead bug, which I find really fitting for the moment. Good. So the spine is round, the knees and the legs are wide, getting into that center area. Rock back and forth. For as long as you need. And then when you're ready, you can extend everything out. Lying flat, leaving the palms face up to receive energy, or if they're down, to conserve. And taking a moment to lie here, let it all settle in. Letting the controlled breath drift away. And enjoying the natural rise and fall of the chest. Allowing the intention that you set and any worries or stress that you had throughout this practice. Recognize that it's there and then let it go. Taking a moment to reach high overhead. Big stretch. up from a nap. When you're ready, you can roll to your side and pause for a moment here in this yogic posture of new life and new beginnings. And then finally, to close, we'll come back to our easy seated position. Hands up at heart center. Maybe taking a moment to remember that intention. The light in me bows and honors the light in you. Thank you so much for joining me for practice, and namaste.
Thank you all for joining us. Stay safe. Goodbye.